Hi everyone, welcome to episode 93 of Dimes on Duval, presented by Nerdy Nuts. I'm here with Mike Yazdi live in the studio that is my office.
I was going to say, do we have a name for the studio yet?
No. Maybe we can get a sponsor for it and have something for that, but no. Skylar is not here with us tonight. We have some pre-recorded answers for him to some of the questions, so he is still involved. Unfortunately, he is working, but, I mean, we got a jam-packed episode. This is our first one in the season, so we got to talk Jags, we got to talk FSU, we got to talk a little Gators, and that's really it. I mean, that's kind of going to be the epitome of these episodes from here on out until the end of the football season. It's going to be almost all football.
I'm good with that, and I'm pretty sure every one of our listeners have been waiting for an episode for us to talk about football because, man, those dog days of summer were rough.
Yeah.
We only had, one episode? Now we're about to be on a weekly basis. Regardless of one or two people cannot join the recording, we're doing every week.
Mm-hmm.
We have established that, so we'll be back next week. Maybe a different day, but we'll figure that out. But, yeah, I'm excited for football season, and so far, our teams are off to a good start.
Yeah, it feels good to be you and I. I mean, I see you repping the Knowles right there with your shirt. I like that, and I don't have my Jag stuff in here right now. I got to change out my hats for the season since the Magic aren't playing and JU is, well, yeah, JU. But anyway, yeah, let's go ahead and get right into it. So first, we're going to do a little Jags news. I just thought this was kind of a cool little article I read in the Times-Union. There is going to be a former Voice singer and Florida or Ponte Vedra native, Madison Hughes, is going to be singing the national anthem for the game home opener at Everbank Stadium this Sunday. I just thought that was pretty cool. She was chosen by Blake Shelton's team after performing "Knocking on Heaven's Door" by Bob Dylan. You know that song?
No.
It's a good one, even though Bob Dylan can't sing, but that's what he's known for. Good songwriter, but he can't sing.
It's just like, okay, so it's like saying, like, for example, Blaine Gabbert's a good backup quarterback, but not a good starting quarterback.
Sure, yeah, that works for me. Yeah.
So he's making his money either way.
Yeah. This is her first time in like a big stadium too. She talked about how nervous she is for this, and she's used to smaller venues and stuff. She actually warmed up, quote unquote, at a Jumbo Shrimp game last month, so she got a feel for what it's like to wear the ear monitors, hear her voice on a delay on the Jumbotron, and she's gonna have to see what it's like with a plane, a flyover. You have 90 seconds, and once those 90 seconds are up, those planes are flying over. They can't stop.
They can slow down. No, they're not.
I never really thought about it though. There is a lot of pressure in that. If you don't time it right, or if you're infamously bad, you're kind of remembered for that.
Who was the girl with Mo Cheeks in the basketball game? Do you remember that?
Oh yeah.
Like, that's the one I always remember with national anthem screw ups.
Oh, what was it? Well, who was it? Was it Rihanna, or who was it with the Steph Curry and Draymond Green are all laughing?
Oh,
who was that?
Was it Kesha?
Or Mariah Carey?
No,
I don't know.
No, I'm gonna look this up.
I don't know.
Kesha.
God, I feel so out of sorts. I should know that right off the top of my head, but it was so bad. Brave.
I'm pretty sure it was Kesha. I want to see who the Oh nope, it was Fergie.
The other
Fergie.
one.
I literally just typed on
star.
Draymond Green laughing national anthem as Fergie and his dumbass smile just laughing.
It was, but I mean, it's one of those where you remember it because of how bad it was. So this is no pressure. I doubt you're ever gonna hear this, Madison. So good luck this weekend, and go Jags. That was such a bad song. I just think about it, and everybody was laughing. They should not have had that on TV. Anyway,
Was it the All-Star game?
I think so. Yeah.
I think it was some big game because there was a lot of stars. I'm pretty sure it was the All-Star game.
I'm pretty sure it was too.
Yikes.
But anyway, hey dude, we are winners. We are 1-0.
Are we though?
I mean, we won the game.
I mean, you could.
But in the technical sense, we are 1-0.
I mean, from what you saw on social media though after the game, you did not think we were 1-0.
No, it was I don't know. That's what we're gonna talk about.
How do you feel? Like, do you think we played, like, obviously we won. I'm happy with the win. We're 1-0 in the division, and also one of the top teams in the AFC because a lot of the top teams from last year lost their opening game. But, like, I don't feel like that was a great win.
No. To me, I felt like we were playing against a rookie quarterback with a team that's just more annoying than, good.
Who, by the way, Anthony Richardson, I don't think is going to be any good, but that's just me.
And we'll talk about that in a second.
Okay.
Yeah. But, I mean, I thought we'd go out a little bit stronger than that. There was a lot of drives that just stalled.
To me, it seemed like the offense specifically was working out the kinks, which is fine, but like that's what you had preseason for.
Agreed. I mean, with 72% of the other voters in the poll that you posted the other day, agreed. Slow start, but I think we're going to be fine. I will answer the rest. 21% said that we are Super Bowl bound. LOL. Maybe.
Oh, people actually voted for that?
Yeah, and 7% said very concerned. So
you only got 14 votes. It's funny. When I first posted it, 5 votes immediately jumped right off the rip where slow start will be fine. Then someone voted very concerned, but no one voted Super Bowl bound. So I guess Super Bowl bound got some more votes.
Yeah.
After midnight today. Like it was, yeah.
Maybe we should do a poll every week. Different question, different whatever. But the Monday after the game, we throw out a poll question and just see what people are feeling or whatever. We'll think of something, I'm sure. But yeah, I mean, let's go ahead and get right into it. I've asked Skylar this question, what the biggest overreaction was from this past weekend, and we kind of just touched on that.
For me, I gotta say the biggest overreaction was on the offense side. I understand they didn't look as smooth as people would like. Kirk only got like 1 catch, so that was interesting. But they still scored 31 points, and I believe it was John Shipley tweeted and said that was the highest points total we had ever scored in Indianapolis, RCA Dome, and beyond. It's either him or Mike DiRocco.
We've never scored over 31?
I believe the highest we had scored was 27 in Indianapolis.
Wow.
Based on that tweet. So we'll have to try to get that pulled up, too, just to have it linked with it. But, obviously 31 points is something we would have taken in the past, so I'm not too upset with it. Ridley looked great in the first half. I think he had 9 catches for 92 yards at that point. So it was just good. Ultimately, we came away with the W, but I think people overreacted a little bit with that. Play calling obviously got questionable at times, but I think they know that with game 1 against Indianapolis, they were probably able to kind of try some things and work through the mistakes this week versus where now we have a much tougher opponent coming up. We won't be able to get away with those mistakes.
Okay, and so that's Skylar's. Mine, I think, will be controversial with you, but I think the biggest overreaction is the O-line. I think we're going to be okay. I don't like that Fortner and Sheriff did not practice today. They both have ankle injuries, but I think, all in all, I think we're going to be okay. I tried to make it a point to watch both O-lines and D-lines. I wanted to watch the Colts. I wanted to watch Trayvon.
You wanted to watch the Big Fat Uglies, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, I wanted to watch Trayvon and Josh Allen to see if they're actually making moves to try and actually get to the quarterback.
We'll get to the defensive line in a second.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, that's interesting. Well, let's watch it on the other side. I want to see how Anton Harrison's doing since, he's the young buck of the group. And I watched him get beat a couple times, but I think he had a pretty good halftime adjustment because the second half wasn't as ugly as the first half. That injury, though, just really sucks. But overall, I think we're going to be okay.
Injury as in to Sheriff.
Sheriff, yeah.
To Sheriff,
yeah,
not
Sheriff.
Is it Sheriff?
I don't know how to say his name. Brandon Sheriff.
I'm pretty sure he said Sheriff. Anyway, so O-line's definitely interesting. I think they'll be fine as well. But again, if you lose one injury or one player to injury, you are definitely hurting, especially until Cam comes back from his suspension. I thought Anton Harrison looked good. I question the interior offensive line still because it's Fortner, Barch, and Sheriff who's now banged up, who I was really worried was not going to come back, and that was really rough. My biggest concern from week 1 was the defensive line. Sure, they got, 5 sacks, 4 sacks, 5 sacks, whatever they did, but they didn't look like sacks. Only one of them I really recall, maybe two, was an actual sack. Like he got to the quarterback, beat the offensive line.
I think it was
Trayvon got one, and Josh Allen got one.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Allen got credit with 3 sacks, which 2 of them were not really sacks in my opinion. It was the quarterback running out of the pocket, and one of them was going to the sideline, and one of them was getting tackled forward, short of the line of scrimmage. So I'm still concerned with the defensive line. They did get pressure, which is great, but we need to finish this job. We need to finish the rush. We need to be able to get to Patrick Mahomes this week because that man is a nuisance to deal with. He can be a problem. He can throw it, I feel like, from his butt if he wanted to. If he fell on his butt, he'd throw it 40 yards. So I want to get him down. We hurt him last year, and yet we still didn't attack him in the playoff game. And we should have probably went after him and maybe caused him some discomfort. But hopefully Mike Caldwell will draw up something where you let the young edge rushers go after him. Bring Devin Lloyd off a edge blitz. Bring a corner. Bring Rayshon Jenkins. Bring something. Throw some confusion into Patrick Mahomes and make him look for Kadarius Toney. God help him if he does. Look for Marquez Valdes-Scantling. Look for Sky Moore. Look for someone other than Travis Kelce, who we may not even know if he's going to play this upcoming Sunday. And as of recording, he's still questionable. He practiced today.
He looked all fun and jolly with Chris Jones jumping around, bouncing off each other.
I'm not happy about that one. I mean, Travis Kelce practiced today, which is fine, but Chris Jones, I'm really also concerned about on the other side as we're talking about offensive line. The man is back, man. If the Colts abused our offensive linemen some plays, I can't imagine what Chris Jones is going to do.
Did he play any of the preseason?
No, he held out. He was holding out.
So,
but he might be
could
rusty.
Could he have some rust? Yeah, maybe.
But I think he's a guy who, I mean, judging from the picture the video that they showed him sitting in the press box or sweep box, whatever.
Yeah.
He looked in shape. So I'm not questioning Chris Jones' work ethic, and hopefully he gets weighed down by the amount of money in his pocket. So I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I do want to give props to Oluokun. I think he had a great game. He made a lot of tackles. Most of them were solos too. I mean, like he was wrapping guys up after short yard gains and completing the tackle.
You say he was the player of the game, which I'm thinking.
I didn't say player of the game. I just said I think I wanted to give him his props because I thought he did well.
What was the play of the game for you? Like, what changed your thoughts on how this Jags game was going to go? And I think I know where you're going to go.
The thread the needle pass to Ridley.
Really? That's it? No, I'm thinking completely different.
The Zay Jones one?
No.
Which one are you thinking?
The punt return by Agnew, because I was wondering, I was like, what is this man doing, taking it from the inside the 5? And the man ran all the way to the 45. I'm like, he just ran 40 yards, or really 60 yards to get 40 yards, but...
Well, play of the game, I was just thinking like that got me excited. That game-changing play.
That play changed the entire game for the Jaguars.
And Strange pushing Tank all the way down to the goal
on that
line
same
too.
possession, it led to a touchdown.
Yeah.
So like if also Agnew has some massive cojones to do that, because honestly there's only a few players I trust to do that decision, and
he's one of them.
He's obviously one of them, but like I'm thinking like Rashad Green at FSU. Or Devin Hester, like you're talking electric punt returner who's not going to screw it up. Yeah. And Jamal did not screw it up there. If he had fumbled, I would have lost my mind.
Dante Hall.
Yeah, like there are players that you just trust, and Agnew, he's going to take one back sooner rather than later, and I'm hoping it's this Sunday against the Chiefs.
All right, pick one. Is it going to be a kickoff return or a punt return?
It'll be a punt return.
Yeah,
okay. I think a punt return because he almost broke it this past Sunday. If he didn't get tackled at the 35 or 40-yard line, he was gone.
Oh, I mean, it's like Ridley on that play where Etienne came up and threw the block for him. I was like, he's in the end zone. But he just stepped out of bounds.
On the 15-yard line, 14-yard line. Yeah.
Oh, man. That one hurt. I was jumping up and down. Sorry, downstairs neighbor.
Are you concerned with the lack of involvement of Christian Kirk?
No.
Why?
I think we have a whole roster of receivers that can do something game in and game out. And I think it's just going to be one of those where, depending on who the opponent is, we'll target one more than the other. I mean, Etienne had 5 receptions. Ingram had 5 receptions. Zay Jones had 5 receptions. Ridley had 8 receptions. Kirk has 1.
How many targets did Ridley have?
Ridley had 11.
Yeah.
Zay 7, Ingram, ETN 5, Kirk 3. Tank
Ridley
Bigsby
getting
1.
double digits is a problem for me. And I guess we can transition to the concern.
Sure. Okay.
Part.
Yeah.
I guess biggest concern is going to be the offensive line. Obviously, we were already down Cam because of that suspension, but now we got Sheriff hurt and got Fortner kind of shaken up a little bit.
Yeah,
so
he did not practice today.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see who all gets in Sunday and who's able to stay in Sunday. That will be a concern. It was a concern, watching Trevor scramble. I think he ended up only getting, I guess he got sacked twice. He had that sack fumble that Tank kind of picked up, and then another sack prior to that. So ultimately, we didn't let up too many sacks. I mean, I think Trevor's athleticism and awareness obviously is a big credit to that. With the rollouts he had and on the run looked really good.
Only 2 sacks, and his longest run was for 11 yards.
Yeah, I'd like to see more runs, I guess, out of him, but at the same time, not, because he had that QB draw that seemed pretty effective, and then the 2 quarterback sneaks were kind of a weird play call sequence. But yeah, offensive line, if they can just get healthy, stay healthy, just to keep Trevor healthy, obviously that's the biggest concern right now.
All right, there we go. That's Skylar's. Mike, back to you.
So just going back to what I said about the D-line, I guess when we were talking about overreaction, I guess mine is more so don't believe the numbers, like with the D-line.
Yeah. Don't believe,
Because I'm thinking what I
Josh
said.
Allen,
That sounds
leader in sacks.
It sounds like a concern, but it's obviously it is a concern, but still don't believe all the numbers because those are not legitimate sacks.
Sure.
Anyway, my concern is Trevor Lawrence force-feeding the ball to Calvin Ridley, because there are multiple times I thought he could have just hit the open receiver 5 yards in, 5 yards out, whatever it is, 5-10 yards. He kept going deep to Ridley or trying to get the ball to Ridley. There was one throw, like you said, your favorite play of the game was the needle.
Scary thread the needle, yeah.
That's a concern. I don't want him to be forcing it to Calvin Ridley. Just find your open receiver and make the smart throw. Lawrence, I feel like, trusts his arm a little too much, and that's kind of what got us in trouble in the Chargers playoff game.
Yeah.
So if he wants to do 30 touchdowns, 30 picks, I'm going to lose my mind. But
I'm not a film buff. I don't go back and watch these things, but I would like to I'm going to focus on that this Sunday against the Chiefs.
There was 3 throws that I remember distinctly where Trevor I thought he overthrew someone, but he was forcing it to someone who's further down the field when he could have hit the easier route.
I remember one specifically where a guy jumped, and he was like, oh, that's not for me. And he just kept his arms down and went over his head.
Well, I don't know if it was the jump one, but I remember there was one when we were driving down the left side of the field. We're going down to the left. There was a receiver, I believe it was Kirk, let's say 7 yards off the line of scrimmage. Ridley was 13 yards. He threw it to Ridley when Kirk was wide the F open. I don't know if it was Kirk or Ingram or whatever, but there was someone open. I'm like, Trevor, just hit the open throw. So that is my concern with Trevor Lawrence going forward. And he's trusting his arm a little too much, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Just make the smart throw. There's why legends are made by making the smart throw and then eventually beat them deep. Go deep. You have a deep threat in Ridley. You can go deep. Just work your way up to it, I think. And this is coming from a person who obviously has never played quarterback in the NFL. But I'm just saying.
No, but
make the smart read.
No, yeah, and we don't know if he's making smart reads or not because we're not him. We're not an NFL quarterback like you said. But from a fan's perspective, yeah, there was instances where there was someone wide open and he didn't hit them. He was going for something bigger. It is what it is, It's week 1. Like I said, we're all here to talk about these things now, and hopefully they all get addressed. My concern is, and I'm sure it'll get resolved, I pray that it does, was the play calling. I mean, the 4th down conversion attempts were miserable. The QB sneak on 3rd and 2.5 pissed me off.
I don't know if that was the play calling or Trevor just completely audibling. I was listening to the happy hour segment by the Jaguars on 1010. Well, on podcast feed because I don't listen to 1010. I'll never support them.
Agreed.
Pete Briscoe and Tony Baselli. I know the P's sound very rough on the mic, but Pete Briscoe and Tony Baselli, they were saying they believe that Trevor audibled into that QB sneak on third and 4 or 3rd-and-3.
It was 3rd-and-2 listed on the TV, but it was 3rd-and-2 and 3/4.
I was saying it felt like a long 2 yards.
It was a long 2.
So they think that he audible because there was no one really up in the middle, which actually was true because Trevor just dove and he got those 2 yards, but he was short anyways. But he could have ran and he could have gone.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like,
so
at least stay on your feet.
That middle of the field was open, so I think Trevor may have audible to that. So I don't know if it was play calling so much as it was just a weird run by Trevor. But go ahead, continue.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's fair. That's fair.
That's the one I can argue
I mean,
about.
There was a couple other ones where it just seemed like
screen pass, the 4th down screen pass.
Whatever would make that a good idea? I don't understand. I already hate enough when quarterbacks are in shotgun on 4th and inches or 1 or whatever. I think shotgun is just... It's the NFL now. You're almost always in shotgun. But it's like
college.
Yeah, well, yeah, in professional football, it's just ridiculous. I think you can't be conservative next week or this weekend because the Chiefs are the Chiefs. But I think some of the play calling needs to be a little smarter than that on these kind of plays. You don't have to get cute with it. If it's 4th and inches, give it to the big guy. Or Trevor Lawrence is freaking 6'6" or whatever. Just let him just take it up the gut. So I will say, though, speaking of 1010 and how we don't affiliate with them, old Dilla tweeted today or 2 days ago saying, Frangie thinking if they didn't say press was calling plays before the game, no one would have complained about the play calling yesterday. Yeah, no. The whole 3rd quarter was just a mess.
Well, that's why I wanted my tweet to go numbers on I don't know if you saw my tweet after the game. Or maybe it was like during the 4th quarter. The Jaguars stopped messing around in the 4th quarter and started playing for real.
Was it the controller
thing?
The
controller thing. Yeah, the controller. I legitimately believe that's what happened.
I think I saw it from the Dimes account this morning. I did not see it game day, though.
Yeah, so.
I mean... Yeah, well, let's
Hey,
hope
got
for the best.
1,500 views, so I'll take it.
There you go. All right. So, speaking of Kansas City, and we've already mentioned them a couple times, home this Sunday, 1 p.m., big game. Skylar's going to be out there, apparently grilling some burgers and dogs or something, which will be really cool. Mike, you're not going to be out there? You might be out there? Depends.
Right now, I'm putting out a 5% chance I'm going, just because it's...
5? Okay.
Tickets are probably going to be cheap, or not cheap, I'm sorry, not going to be cheap.
They went down $30 today. I will say the average went down $30 today. I don't know what they're going for right now.
But no, I don't know. I'm just not, I don't know. We'll see. If I make it, it might be a game time decision. I might just go in for kickoff and come right back out. I'm not trying to spend 7 hours at the bank Sunday.
Fair enough. Well, I mean, you can always retreat here if you need be. But let's talk about keys to win. It's going to be... I don't remember the last time we beat Kansas City, but
I'll pull it up.
It's probably been a minute. Obviously, last year, well, I guess technically this calendar year we lost to them. We lost in 2022 as well. I'd love to be able to beat Patrick Mahomes here in Jacksonville with this team because I think they're good enough. What do you got?
The Jaguars are currently 9-6. I'm sorry, no, the Chiefs are 9-6 against the Jags, all games including playoffs and whatnot. The last win was 2009. We've lost the last 7 meetings.
Yikes. Okay, I'd like to change that. You said 2007?
2009.
Or 2009?
So our team, I'll tell you who the quarterback was. I'm loading, so keep talking.
Was it Garrard?
I think it was Garrard, yes.
Garrard I feel like it had to be Garrard versus... Who the heck was the Chiefs? Was it Trent Green? No, that had to have been past.
So David Garrard was the quarterback. 1 touchdown, 264 yards passing. The quarterback for the Chiefs was none other than Matt Castle.
Matt Castle.
And the running back for the Chiefs was Jamal Charles. And the leading receiver for the Chiefs was Lance Long and Dwayne Bowe.
Okay, I know
74
Dwayne Bowe,
yards each. The leading rusher for the Jags was legend MJD. And this is interesting. The leading receiver for the Jaguars that day was Mike Sims Walker, 6 for 147 and a touchdown. So he had actually more than half of David Garrard's receiving passing yards. So that's good to know.
6 for 1. That's a good number.
Yep. And MJD ran 29 for 97.
Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and let's get Skylar's take. Skylar, your take on the keys for this game on Sunday.
Well, I mean, I think it's one main key, but they kind of go hand in hand. Stop Kelsey and score more points than them. Obviously, if you keep him, limited, you should have great success in limiting the points. Obviously, we saw with week 1, they struggled finding playmakers on the field without him. So you keep him out of play. Obviously, he's coming back from injury. That's going to be a little beneficial to us, but he could also just be as healthy as normal and still just as dominant. But
in the divisional round, he had 17 targets, 14 receptions, and 98 yards and 2 tutties. So I'm with you right there. That's a huge key right there. But continue.
Yeah, well, I mean, you limit him, you should limit the points, and that should make it a little easier to score more points than them. Which, that's the key ultimately, is just score more than them, because they're going to score, they're going to move the ball, but just how Detroit won by 1 point. That's the key. Just score more than that. And I know it's early in the season, but it's super critical right now with how the playoffs are. Jaguars can really put themselves in a good position for the number 1 seed. Even though it is early, we got Buffalo lose and Cincinnati lose. And Cincinnati's going to play Baltimore this weekend. And then, Buffalo, I don't think they're playing Miami. Yeah, they're playing Vegas, but they still have to play Miami twice a year. So it's going to shape up pretty decent for us, especially since we have to play all those people too.
Agree. So, yeah, I'm with you there. I'm listening loud and clear for sure. Buffalo has Las Vegas this Sunday, so that'll be an interesting one. And Cincinnati has Baltimore, so I'm looking at, obviously Kansas City plays us, but those are really the teams I care about, and those are the ones you mentioned. So let's just get a dub, man. I want it so bad.
And I mean, it's going to be a wild environment. I think it's going to be a good environment. It shouldn't be too hot. I think last time I checked was a high of 86. So nothing crazy. Still going to be hot out there, but it's going to be pretty loud. And I expect the fans to have a great time. And it's going to be even better when we do beat them. So
pretty straightforward answer there. I mean, scoring more points and stopping Kelsey if he plays. My key to the game is don't piss them off. The last 2 games, I'll start with the regular season game. Andre Cisco knocks out Juju Smith-Schuster, and it lights a fire under the Chiefs. I looked up quotes. There was guys saying that it made them mad.
This is the regular season matchup.
Yep, the regular season matchup. He lowers his shoulder, just a bad hit. It is what it is. It wasn't dirty or anything like that.
By the way, Cisco should not have gotten a flag thrown on him Sunday for that hit also, I thought. But
I agree, but, water under the bridge. So we pissed them off that game. We lost. Playoff game, we, not on purpose, but injure Patrick Mahomes. He gets pissed because he doesn't want to come out of the game. He doesn't want to go get x-rays. He comes back with vengeance and marches down, scores on the first drive that he comes back. Now, granted, we did let Chad Henne go 98 yards as well.
Don't forget that bum.
Yeah, but still, we let him come back with vengeance, and we lose that game by 7. So don't piss him off, and just play smart. If we play smart, I think we win the game. What about you? You got one?
Force the ball. Okay. If Travis Kelce plays, he cannot beat you. Let him have his 100 yards, fine. Just do not let him get 2-3 touchdowns because, oh my God, is it a backbreaker if he gets double touchdowns? Will help my fantasy team in one league, but that's besides the point. Have a receiver named Kadarius Toney beat you. Have Sky Moore beat you. Have
Marquez Valdez.
I mean, even then, he's a deep bomb receiver, so I'm fine with that. I'll be pissed, actually. Not really, but I would be okay with these deep bombs happening. But, man, have someone other than Mahomes or Kelsey beat you. If Pacheco runs wild, I'm going to be furious. But it's someone other
Can't
than...
stand him.
You can't stand Pacheco?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't think he's very good.
I think he's good.
I think he just runs as like he's running as
with
fast
his head
as
cut
he
off?
can. Yeah, like a chicken with his head, I couldn't think of it. Chicken with his head cut off, and he just bounces off people and gets lucky.
The thing is,
I don't think he's very good.
I mean, the
he
bouncing
sucked
off
week 1.
is... I mean, the Lions are actually a pretty decent run team, I think. They just can't pass. They can't defend the pass. But anyway, also, I think if you have one of those players beat you, you should be able to win the game. Just don't let Kelsey get wild. Don't let him break a record on your sorry-ass defense.
And no stupid penalties, please.
Yeah. Also, the Chiefs are going to come out with emotion. They cannot afford to go down 0-2. In that loaded division, they are going to be, if they go down 0-2, granted, one game out of conference, one game in conference outside the division, so they can still win the division with starting off 0-2. But man, the vibes in Kansas City would be off if it's 0-2, if they start off 0-2. The pressure's on the Chiefs, I think, to win this game.
We're at home. We got home field advantage, you know.
They're
use that to our assistance.
The Chiefs are favored by 3, I believe. I already bet on the Jaguars, and the Jaguars cover. I think the Jaguars will win this game as of right now. That'll probably change come Sunday morning. But man, if you just stop Mahomes and Kelsey from connecting multiple times in the end zone. Anyone else, fine.
Shut up, stupid ad.
As Keith plays some inappropriate video.
No, it's a Progressive commercial.
Again, inappropriate.
-3.5.
Yeah, so they're favored, and if let's say Kelsey is starting, then the line's going to move up probably to maybe 4.5. But if you prevent Mahomes and Kelsey connections, you should be able to win this game Sunday afternoon, and then go into next week up 2-0 and have a stranglehold on the AFC, because this is big for the Jaguars.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first of 3 or 4, I believe, big games inside the conference. They still have to play the Ravens. They still have to play the Bengals. Luckily, those 2 are at home.
Yeah, and they're well down the
They're
schedule.
well down later in the year. They have the Browns, who look to be pretty damn solid now with Deshaun Watson. So that's still early on Watson, but this is a big game for the Jaguars in terms of interconference play and also AFC standings, because this game could come back to bite the Jaguars if they lose. Could bite the Chiefs if they lose.
Yeah.
So
I mean, big implications for both teams.
Because I strongly believe both teams will be in playoff hunt and top seed hunt by the end of the year.
Oh, yeah. I think this is one of the biggest Week 2 games in the league. I'm quickly looking at the schedule here. Indianapolis plays Houston. Ooh, whoopity-doo.
That is a big game for draft reasons.
I like that. I like that a lot.
So honestly, the biggest game of the week, I think Chiefs Jags. I believe Ravens Bengals is a big one. I believe
Minnesota Philly is a pretty big one for Minnesota. I mean, they need to bounce back after that.
Yeah, that's
mess.
rough. That's rough. You lose to the Bucks, and the Bucks are favored against the Bears, who, whatever, the Bears suck too. But, yeah, no, this.
But Justin Fields is the answer, Mike.
He has no offensive line. I'm just giving up hope on them and trying to adjust that offensive line.
He still couldn't throw the ball to save his life.
Anyway, but yeah, Chiefs Jags I think is the biggest game of the week. Other than maybe Ravens Bengals, but those 2 are the 1:00 games, so you can bet your ass I'll be watching both those on YouTube TV multi-view, which thank God that's a thing, by the way.
Bless up.
Which we need to talk about that, transitioning to the next topic.
College football. I watched so many games at once, and Elisa was very confused and annoyed because she's like, it's too small. I'm like, I don't care. I can see it just fine.
What's your biggest criticism of that? Because I know we're transitioning to college football, but obviously that multi-view is more for college football than it is NFL.
I wanted to be customizable.
You wanted to pick which games you
wanted.
wanted.
Because I couldn't watch the Alabama-Texas game.
Alabama-Texas, Florida
game.
State, and the Florida McNeese
State, yeah.
So,
I couldn't watch them all together. I could only watch McNeese and Alabama, and I'm like, no, I want FSU in there too.
Yeah, and you can only watch Florida State and Alabama, but no Florida. For me personally.
Oh, I couldn't get anything with Alabama
you couldn't do
and
Florida.
Texas.
Yeah, you couldn't do
Florida
State and but like if you can customize it to, I think they're still working out the kinks.
Yeah, I do like though if you like one of the games specifically, you can just click on it and it expands it.
So I had trouble with that with the Florida State game, but then again, whatever, Florida State was dominating, so I didn't really care. But I wanted to watch the Alabama game. But my also biggest issue was they were using the Pat McAfee show.
Yeah.
The commentary, not the actual game. I wanted the actual game with Fowler and Herbstreit.
It was really bad. McAfee's smart. He knows his stuff. No one else contributed anything of any significance.
Well, that's because they're his friends. They're like they're along for the ride.
Exactly. But like that's why the Manning show, works so well, is because they're both smart and they both know what they're talking about and they both can contribute.
Also, I think the McAfee show should not be live in the stadium. I think it should be like in a studio.
Yeah, they looked really weird out there. They're
with
just
the
kind of
microphones
like just
walking around.
like, oh yeah, and then the other guys who
I know
I don't
Matthew
even know who
McConaughey
they
was
were.
on there too. I was like, all right, we're doing that. But yeah, no. YouTube TV, great job with the multi-view. They just work. A few things need to be worked on, but
yeah, I'm with you on that. So, with that transition there, FSU. I mean,
what did I tell you all preseason? I am very confident in this Knowles team. This upcoming game against Boston College, may be affected by the hurricane and not coming towards Florida for a first.
yeah, very weird to think about that. A storm affecting a Knoll game, but it's not going to be here.
It's weird, but Florida State is legit. They are a top 5 team in the country. Anyone that disagrees is
Top
just
3.
a pure hater. I can say you can make an argument for top 5. I'm okay with being number 5. But personally, they deserve to be top 3. I believe they should be number 1 team in the country. Maybe number 2 behind Texas. But this team is legitimate, and if they beat Clemson, they should beat Clemson next week.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't see them losing a game. Their only potential loss is not Miami.
Dang it, I was going to say it, but
It's
you beat
not
me to
Miami. It's Pitt. In Pitt.
Not Duke. Pitt.
Duke's a home game, so I don't think we'll lose a game at home.
Okay.
So I'm going to road test. Not going to home game. I still think we'll throttle Miami by 20 points. Miami is a joke. They beat a shitty Texas A&M team. Or, I'm sorry, a shittily coached Texas A&M team.
Mm-hmm.
Jimbo Fisher's a joke, and I cannot wait to see Jimbo fired after this year.
Well, for Pitt, I looked them up. They beat Wofford in week 1, lost to Cincinnati.
That was a rough loss. That was bad.
It was
this past weekend. But
the week before they play us, though, they have to go to Notre Dame. So,
okay, maybe it won't be as bad. But Florida State, man, they look good. They are deep in all positions. Their receivers are unmatched. Their quarterback is going to be a Heisman contender. Their D-line
running backs.
And I'll get to the running backs. Their D-line is just so deep. I don't remember the last time they rotated so many defensive linemen.
Yeah,
so,
it's really cool to see.
2013, they had some defensive linemen. They didn't rotate them as much. I feel like this year they rotate them more.
Mm-hmm.
And the running back, secondary. I love the Florida State secondary. I think they're really good. Having Patrick Surtain Sr. as their DB coach is a great addition by Mark Norvell. Linebackers is whatever, but they had a great game against LSU, an okay game against Southern Miss. But the running backs, I'm a little concerned about the running game, personally. Week 1 didn't do anything against LSU, which then again, it's LSU, great front 4, great front 7, fine.
Mm-hmm.
And it took a while to get them going against Southern Miss, but I think the running backs are the key to Florida State's success. If they struggle, then it could cause issues for Jordan Travis and Keon Coleman and Jaheim Bell and Johnny Wilson and Kentron Portier. I can't even pronounce his last name. But
Portier?
No, it's not Portier. It's Portier, I think. But anyway, the running game is key for Florida State. I think they'll get this going, hopefully, against Boston College, because Boston College stinks. And then we got a matchup against Clemson, which is very annoying because it's a noon kickoff next week. So I'm a little disappointed about that, but it's fine. So Florida State looks damn good, and I cannot wait for all the Gator fans, and mainly the Gator fans, actually, because there aren't much Hurricane fans.
Mm-hmm.
This is my rant, as you have not noticed.
No, yeah, go for it.
Gator fans are going to have to acknowledge the fact that Florida State is the big brother of the state. And because if Florida State continues on the path I think they're going to, they're going to be a threat for years to come in the Southeast and across the country.
I agree. I took a pause there because I wasn't sure if you were finished. But,
I was done.
I'm with you there because Florida State has taken the approach of accepting the transfer portal, not like Clemson, who is
just denied it. They don't even want anyone in the transfer portal.
Dabo's such a dummy for that. But
hey, I'm glad because that just sets Clemson back. And by the way, I truly believe this is the fall of Clemson. I think Clemson's about to go back to Clemsoning.
Oh, I think this is the fall of Alabama too. Alabama relies so heavily on their guys coming to Alabama with Nick Saban saying, hey, man, you sit for a couple years, you'll come in after those couple years, and then you'll play, and you'll be great. Nobody wants to do that anymore. Everyone wants to go start immediately, so those guys are going to start saying, like, hey, F this, I could go start at Syracuse right now. I'm going to go there.
I've noticed players want to start by year 2. They're not waiting 3 years to start.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it with some FSU guys. I mean
luckily Jordan had to fight for his job. And that's probably the last of when people want to fight for jobs.
Yep.
I mean, you see all these schools taking quarterbacks in the transfer portal and whatnot. They're losing battles, but they're staying. But who knows if they'll stay there after this year.
Mm-hmm.
So I disagree with Alabama falling off the map.
I don't think they're going to fall completely, but they're not going to be the dynasty that they've been.
You think their national championship?
I think they're done winning national championships.
Interesting.
Under Nick Saban,
I think Nick Saban. I think who retires first, Nick Saban or Dabo Swinney?
Saban. Because of age.
Okay, I was gonna say, does Dabo get fired?
I mean,
I would. If
you'd have to go probably two years in a row of being subpar for him to get fired.
Clemson's been subpar since they lost Trevor Lawrence.
But I mean, 7 wins, 6 wins, or something like that.
Maybe, probably, but
with what he's done for them, I don't know if they could just fire him like that. But who knows? Not our problem. We got a coach.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do.
Every morning when I'm in the gym and I don't want to finish my treadmill set, I'll throw on. There's like this 3-minute video of like FSU hype that I watch, and it just gets me going, man. I'm ready to run through a brick wall.
If Florida State wins a national championship this year, you don't know what I'm about to do.
Oh, we both might die.
I have been holding in so much shit talking to Gator fans, and because if they win a national championship, that'd be 4. Florida State died. No, they rose. They died, rose again, died even more, and came back before Florida was relevant.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I take that back. Maybe the died and come back part once. But yeah, 2006-07 is their last time they were relevant, really.
Yeah. I mean, I'm with you there. They had a few good years. They won, some
fair,
bowl games and stuff like that.
They did something that may not be replicated.
Virginia or something?
Before Georgia did it this past year, winning back-to-back natties was not easy.
Oh, yeah. And they did it in 2 sports.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah, well, Florida's never won a national championship in basketball again, so.
Yeah, not with the coaching that they've had since. I agree.
But yeah, no, Florida State died and came back before Florida even came back. That's funny.
Well, with that, I actually have a question for Skylar about the Gators, so let me get that in real quick. Skylar, the Gators are currently 1-1. Is there any chance that they can beat Tennessee this weekend?
Yeah, I think there is a chance, only because it's in Gainesville, and that's really our only chances since it's here.
Right.
If you ask me, and then the game's in Knoxville, I'm probably saying no, not really any chance, but at least we have some fans, I'm sure, will show up still and, create a ruckus. And that rivalry is a little underrated in terms of, like, nowadays how it's viewed, just because we've been a little dominant in the past. But definitely think there's a chance because we'll be at home. And it's been, I heard on the radio, I could be wrong about the number, but I'm pretty sure it was like 11 years last time they won down in Gainesville. Like 2003 season or so. But yeah, I think Tennessee's still going to win this game pretty easily. I'm not too confident in the Gators this season, but you never know. You never know with college football and college players because they have nerves and anxiety and they make mistakes and they don't quite know how to bounce back from mistakes the same way as pros do. And that's what makes them amateurs versus pros.
Yep, you're completely right. And you are correct also with that date. Yeah, it was 2003 the last time Tennessee won in Gainesville. Before that, they actually won in 2001 as well. So the last time before that. So, all right. So, Mike, I asked this question to Skylar off air.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see if you can answer it for me. So right now, the Gators sit at 1-1. They lost to Utah. They beat McNeese State. They play Tennessee at home. ESPN 7 p.m. If they lose that game, they will be 1-2.
Okay.
Can you tell me the year of the last time the University of Florida was 1-2? And they've never been 0-3. Well, they hadn't been 0-3 in this span either. Skylar was off by 1 year.
Let's see. Is it in the 21st century?
Nope.
Before that. Okay, so now this is before I was born. I'm going to guess 1982.
10 years off. 92.
Oh, okay. Well, whatever.
But still, I mean, 92 was the last time they
were 1-2.
1-2. That's ridiculous. In that year, their schedule, they beat Kentucky the first game of the season. Then they lost consecutive road games at number 14 Tennessee, at number 24 Mississippi State. So it wasn't like they were losing, crappy games. They were legit losses. They ended up finishing the season 9-4. They won 7 in a row.
That ain't happening.
But they lost to number 3 Florida State.
Will Florida make a bowl this year?
No.
I don't think so either.
I don't think so either. Can you tell me the last time FSU went 1-2 or worse?
Did you pull it up too?
I already have that. I know it.
I believe it was 2017.
No, it's way more recent than that.
We
started 0-3 this year. Actually, we started 0-5 this year.
Oh my God, 2020.
2021.
2020. Was it 2021?
Notre Dame,
yeah,
Jacksonville
State, and then
Wake Forest, and then Louisville. 0-4.
And then that's when the Mike Norvell famous speech went off.
Yeah, that was a brutal one.
I forgot.
Anyway,
I completely forgot about 2021. I thought it was 2017 when when DeAndre Francois tore his knee up, and now it's the Alabama year. That's what I was.
I don't want to think about that. So you asked about making a bowl game. They lose to Tennessee. They're going to beat Charlotte, so that's 2 wins.
Will they?
Charlotte, I think they'll beat the 49ers. They'll lose at Kentucky on the road. Did they beat Vandy? They lost to them last year. It's at home.
Oh, it's at home. Yeah, they'll win that.
Yeah, so we'll give them 3 there. At South Carolina?
They'll win. South Carolina's a
okay, so that's 4. They'll lose to Georgia. Arkansas at home.
They'll lose.
Okay, and then they lose at LSU and at Missouri?
They'll win.
Okay, so 5 wins because they'll lose to us?
Yeah.
So they won't go
they're
to
still in contention. I mean, if they win the games at
Arkansas and Missouri are big ones.
If they win the games at home, they'll be bowling.
So Tennessee and technically Georgia's at home.
Georgia's not at home. Georgia's gonna put up. I hope.
And us.
Oh, that's right. We do play them.
Yeah, we go to the Swamp this year.
Okay, never mind. I was thinking the Vandy, Missouri, Charlotte, like those games.
Missouri's on the road. Oh. Yeah, it's gonna be a tough one. I mean,
not sorry, Gator fans.
Yeah,
I'm not sorry at all. We had to suffer. So do you.
Mm-hmm.
But your suffering's been a lot longer.
Talking about bad rushing game, they're it's non-existent there either. But anyway, we don't have to get into that really.
But isn't Trevor Etienne better than Travis? Isn't that what Skylar said?
Probably.
I gotta roast him for that.
Yeah. He won't hear it, so it's all good. Let's wrap this baby up, okay? Really, just a couple things I wanted to mention that are going on this weekend. Obviously, the college football slate, if your team's not playing, it doesn't really matter. But
it sucks.
Yeah, it's not great. So on Saturday, instead, you can go to the Florida Fin Fest. It's Saturday and Sunday at the Seawalk Pavilion at Jack's Beach. Kind of people talking about the dangers of plastic and the state of Florida's water quality, which sounds really boring, but there's live music. I mean,
yeah, just tell us straight up, Keith.
It sounds boring. I mean, honestly, would you go to that? No, but there's live music and drinks and stuff like that. So it's a fun thing to do.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go because it's college football. I'm a degenerate.
I agree. But some people have significant others. I force them. I'm not saying I am, but I'm just saying the Shrimp wrap up their season this weekend as well.
I was wondering, are the Shrimp still playing? Because I saw people parking at it near the ballpark, so I wasn't sure if there's a concert tonight or what.
I'm not sure. But this weekend is the last chance to catch them at home. They're playing the Gwinnett Stripers, 7:05 on Friday.
Are they making the playoffs?
No. I don't think so.
They're not
good. 5:05 p.m. doubleheader on Saturday. Those tickets start at $5. And then lastly, Lil Baby is coming to town, baby. 5-Star Veterans Memorial Arena. He is playing 7 p.m. on Saturday. Tickets are starting at $122 if you like him. And then two restaurants. One opening, one closing. Twin Peaks. Have you ever heard of it?
Yes, my brother actually told me about this. He said, you guys have a Twin Peaks opening up? I'm like, never heard of it. He said, apparently it's like a sports bar. It's a sports bar
with Hooters
concept,
yep.
yeah. But apparently, I'm not going to go any further than that conversation.
Yeah, so it's Twin Peaks. They market themselves as kind of like a lodge, like a Moose Lodge or whatever. It's all like wood, rustic looking. They're known, and I'm throwing up air quotes for this one, for their 29-degree cold draft beer. Not 30
swear
degrees,
beers
but it's 29.
get colder by the year. I remember there was a beer, wasn't there a company advertising 34-degree beer below freezing, and it eventually got to 30, then now it's 29.
Well, it's 29-degree beer served in a frosted 22-ounce mug, so it's going to be as cold as you can possibly be.
But is this... Never mind.
But they have a bunch of TVs, so it's another place to go watch the game. They already opened. It's on Atlantic, where the old Cinco de Mayo was.
It's literally right across from... It's by the Jollibee on Atlantic and Kernan.
Oh, yeah.
It's right there in that shopping center.
Right over on that side.
And then speaking of which, across the street, Whataburger finally opened up.
Oh, yeah. That's been open for a little while, though.
Has it?
The one on Atlantic? Yeah. It's been open for at least 2 months now.
No.
Yeah, because I went a couple months ago.
I saw a ribbon cutting ceremony like last week.
The ribbon cutting ceremony was probably for the one on San Jose.
Maybe that's it. I just saw a ribbon cutting ceremony for Whataburger. I assumed it's the one on Atlantic.
No, because we went after... I don't remember what movie we saw, but... Oh, it was after...
Was it Barbie?
Tom Cruise or whatever.
Oppenheimer?
No, he wasn't in that. Mission Impossible?
Well, I'm just... whatever.
I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention to the movie. But restaurant that's closing after 10 years, Corner Taco in 5 Points.
Never heard of it.
Well, it
was a Corner Taco.
It was a corner, lot, and it was tacos. It used to be a food truck. It was probably one of the first food trucks that really gained popularity in Jacksonville years ago. And they opened a brick and mortar, and after 10 years, their lease is coming up, and he said, you know what, I'm good. I've got 2 restaurants in Savannah, so I'm going to focus on those and his family. So now there's only going to be 15 taco places in the Riverside 5 Points area. So don't fret, people.
I would say, I think that's still not enough.
Apparently not,
Honestly, though, tacos are delicious no matter where you go.
Agreed.
I've never
we
had a bad taco.
We could use some. I've had a bad taco, but we could use some better food diversity in that area. I mean, there's 2 pizza places, multiple Mexican places. Hawkers is Hawkers, which is just fantastic, and then you have German. But give me something else. Where's the burger spot? Where's the sports?
There is a burger spot. Lola's. Isn't Lola's still there?
That's further down. That's King Street.
I'm thinking that's the only burger spot I know of. So.
But they're like burgers and burritos, which is just wild. I forget that they have burgers because
Kookaburra, isn't Kookaburra another one? Where am I thinking of Kookaburra? I don't know why.
I don't know what you're
where
talking
I heard
about.
Kookaburra. I might be tripping then. Why have I heard of Kookaburra? Isn't
that a bird? That's what I got when I Googled it.
Nope, it's a coffee place. Never mind. I thought I heard of Kooka. Oh no, it's I don't know. You keep talking while I figure.
I'm trying to figure. I typed in Kookaburra restaurant. There's a Australian American coffee shop in St. Augustine.
Never mind. I'm tripping.
Yeah, dude, I don't got you there. One last thing before we exit, I do want to give props to Skylar for correctly predicting the uniforms for Week 1. They did wear, indeed, white on black on white. He predicted this week that they were going to be wearing a whiteout, and they were going to be doing a teal out.
I remember now what it was.
What was it?
Bubba Coo's burrito.
Oh, that's on Bay Meadows.
Yeah, I drove by it the other day, and I'm like, oh, yeah.
I've heard it's all right.
I want to try it. But yeah, so yeah. Good job, Skylar. You are unfortunately now 1 for 2, though.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, he was
1.5, I guess, because he got the all color out. He just didn't get the exact color.
Yeah. So still props to you, Sky Guy.
You're shooting over 50% in my opinion.
Yeah, and this is a really long episode, but it needed to be one.
Not really. It's about an average episode for us. 47 minutes.
I haven't added in Skylar stuff.
Oh yeah, it's probably over an hour.
Yeah. So it's okay, you guys. We appreciate you always for listening to us. This is Dimes on Duval presented by Nerdy Nuts. Don't forget, all the good fall flavors are coming out. Use code DIMES10 to get 10% off your purchase. With that, he's Mike Yaji. I'm Keith Manzi. Skyler is at Coastal right now, signing off for another episode. We will catch you guys next week. Have a great one.
Go Jags. Ooh, good thing it wasn't water.